Yeah. Okay, so welcome again to breathing into balance. We will be starting either laying down or seated on your mat. And also please collect a pillow, some sort of blanket or towel, and then also a writing piece of paper, a writing utensil, maybe it's a journal, whatever works for you. And we'll go to the mat, and if you're laying down, you could use maybe the blanket to pad your head. I like to put something underneath my knees. And you could kind of lay there in a shavasana shape. If you prefer to be seated, then you maybe are going to take that pillow and put it underneath the sit bones, and that way your hips are above the knees and you're nice and comfortable with a straight spine. So if you're laying down, your spine is straight. If you're seated, your spine is straight. And then again, we'll start to close down the eyes or bring your eyes to a fixed gaze. And we'll start to tap into the breath a little bit more. So we were practicing just observing the breath, but now we're going to move into some pranayama, and the breathing practice this evening is called samavriti, which is equal fluctuation breath. And so I invite you to just start to breathe in for the count of 3, and then out for the count of 3. Nice and simple. So in for 1, 2, 3, out for 3, 2, 1. Count in for 1, 2, 3, and then out for 3, 2, 1. Just continue that a few times and notice if the count of 3 feels good and nice and easy for you. Or perhaps maybe you want to go down to the count of 2 to start. Or you may go up to 4. You're just noticing what your natural capacity is, but you're also matching your inhales and exhales. And it's quite normal in life to bring more air in than we let out. So you may also have to observe your belly moves in towards your spine as you exhale, as though you're expelling the air completely out of your abdomen. You notice that when you're counting, it kind of gives your mind something to focus on so that you're not focusing on the thoughts, and then it starts to bring the body into balance because of the equal fluctuation of each inhale and exhale. We're going to take this one step further so you can feel how it is to lengthen the exhale. And sometimes it's easiest to keep the inhale the same. So inhale for 3, but then exhale for 4. So you're going to add a count. You can count with me. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. And now we'll exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Notice how that feels and continue. Inhaling for 3, exhaling for 4. You may keep that count of 4, or you might even increase the exhale to 5. So you're really letting go. You're letting go of the breath and also maybe what no longer serves you. So that's part of the new moon and setting intentions, is thinking of what's no longer working in life that you want to leave behind. And so every time we lengthen the exhales, it puts the brakes on the stress response. And that starts to bring us into balance in life because we're often feeling a little scattered or like we're moving a lot and there's a lot going on. So the longer exhales help with that balancing aspect. And I'll just come back into normal breathing pattern, whatever that feels like, no need to count. And then notice if your breath is flowing a little more effortlessly. Maybe there's more air moving in and out. Maybe you just feel more calm in your body. And then if you're lying down, go ahead and bend your knees and just windshield wiper them side to side. And then if you're sitting up, you can do the same. Uncross your legs and just gently windshield wiper the legs. Inhaling, bringing the knees to center. Exhaling to one side. Kind of shake the legs out a bit. We'll be coming up into a seated position if you're not there already. If you are, then crisscross your legs the opposite way. Bring yourselves into balance as well. You'll have one way that you favor more than the other. We're actually going to move into another breathing practice before we move into our movement. And this is called Nadi Shodhana. So there is a video if you've done any of the Breathwork Basics module. So you could go into that video and learn a little bit more in detail about this. So this will be kind of a quick crash course. So Nadi Shodhana is alternate channel breathing. We have two channels known as nadis that flow through our body. One's on the left, one's on the right. We actually have a central one too. That's more kind of the balance, but these have different energies as I had mentioned earlier. And so when we alternate the two sides of breathing through both of our nostrils, we bring our body into balance. And so like I was mentioning earlier, we do have this awesome ability in our body where the nostrils naturally change which side we're breathing through. So sometimes you'll catch yourself breathing more through the left, other times more through the right. Now, what does this mean? The left side is actually, the left side of the body is connected to the right brain. So you may notice that these qualities are similar. And that's going to be more of our cooling energy, more of the lunar or calming energy in the body, yin, feminine energy. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, so that's more the rest and the digest, where healing takes place. And then the different qualities is our compassionate. It taps into our intuition, our creative force. It gives us the ability to feel our feelings and be vulnerable. It's our softer side. And so, yes, the right side is in direct opposition. That's why it brings us into balance. So that right side is going to be more heating, known as our solar energy, more energizing and uplifting. It's more of the yang or yang. Masculine energy taps into the sympathetic nervous system. So that can be more fight or flight. Also the stress response if we're too much on that side. And it's more of our rational thought, our expression, our logic, the drive and intellect. So with that said, as we're breathing through the different channels, you can kind of think of those energies that are moving through the body. And the way we do this is you take your peace fingers, so that's like these pointer and middle finger, and you can place them on your forehead. And then the thumb goes over the right nostril and the ring finger hovers over the left. So we're just setting up right now. And so we'll be closing off nostrils, breathing through the other one. And let's start by just taking a nice breath in through both sides if possible. And then out through the nose, nice and even. The next breath, close the right side, inhale through the left. Close the left, exhale through the right. Breathe in through the right. Close the right, exhale left. Good. Inhale through the left. Close, exhale right. Nice and smooth. Again, inhale right. Close. Exhale left. Now you get the hang of it, so try on your own. Inhaling left. Close, exhale right. And you'll just continue that pattern. And then you'll also see if you can bring in that Samavriti breath, so inhaling equal length to however much you exhale. So you're kind of combining two different forms of pranayama right now. Breathing through one side of your nose for the count of 3 or 4, and then doing the same as you exhale through the opposite side. And you'll go ahead and say do about 6 more rounds on your own. Again, noticing the different effects maybe that you feel when you're breathing through one side than the other. Or just noticing if you're feeling a little more balanced or calm. And after you take that last round of breath, you can just place your hands down in your lap, or maybe one hand on your heart and the other on your belly. Taking a few breaths here, breathing in an intention for the rest of your practice. Just what you want to cultivate. And then you can place your hands down and come back into just a normal breath. So as we start to move, we'll be breathing through the Ujjayi breath, which is when we breathe through the nose on the inhale and then out through the nose on the exhale. Nice and even, nice and steady, equal length inhales and exhales. But you're going to feel this constriction down the back of your throat. So as you exhale, it's almost like you're sighing, but you're breathing through your nose instead of your mouth. So if you're sitting on something, you can move that out of the way. Just come down into regular seated position. You can also do this sitting in hero's pose going forward, so back on your heels. And we'll take our arms and just start to shake them out. Feel the sit bones rooting down, and then take a big Ujjayi breath in through the nose, arms rise to the ceiling. And then we'll exhale, cactus the arms, so you're pulling the elbows down, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Again, inhaling, reaching tall. And then exhale, so you're dragging a bar down, squeezing. And one more time, inhaling to reach. And then exhaling, cactus. We'll pause here, take an inhale. As you exhale, we'll twist to the right. So you start to look over to the side wall. You can stay here, or maybe you place one hand on the knee and the other behind you. Breathe in to lift up through the spine. And then as you exhale, you may look over your back shoulder, twisting deeper. Notice how your breath might feel constricted here, and that's okay. We'll just take a bigger breath in and really let it go on the exhale. Then we'll unwind back to center. So on the inhale, twist back around, reach to the sky. And then again, exhale, cactus. Take an inhale. And then exhale, twist over to the left. And so you'll pause here. Maybe the hands come down. Lift through the crown of the head. Exhale, twist a little deeper. Also, again, adjust the breathing if it feels a little stuck. And then we'll start to unwind back to center once again. Arms lift to the sky. And then we'll take the right hand down, press it into the mat. And then we'll inhale, lift your left arm up and over. So you have a rainbow and you have this nice kind of bend in the elbow, fingertips are dripping overhead. And you're also gonna press down into that left sit bone. That's what brings us into balance here. So you inhale, you reach the arm overhead through the fingertips, and then exhale, press down to the sit bone. One more time, inhaling to lift, and exhaling to ground. The next inhale, both arms float to the sky, and then other side. So we'll take that left hand down, right arm drapes up and over. And then once again, reaching through the fingertips on the inhale, exhaling down to your sit bone. 2 more times, reaching and lengthening, and exhale. Last one. Both arms raise up to the sky, good job. And then we'll take our hands down in front and come to tabletop. Starting to come into an even distribution of weight over your wrists and your knees, 90-degree angles. And again, we'll be moving 1 breath per movement here into some cat-cows. So on the inhale, you'll drop the belly, bring your gaze forward, sit bones lift to the sky. As you exhale, press into the mat, look down and round your spine. And do that a few more times. Inhaling, drop the belly, gaze forward. Exhale, really round, feel your thoracic spine, engage. Continue. Moving with the breath, finding that Ujjayi breath in through the nose, out through the nose, nice and even. Breathing in yoga is what's really bringing us into balance energetically in the body. And then we do the same physically. And then we'll come back to normal tabletop, knees come wide, toes touch. And then take a child's pose if that's comfortable for you. So arms can come out in front. You can also sit up into hero's pose if child's pose isn't comfortable. But this is gonna be whatever works for you so that you can connect with your breath. Once again, we'll be just in one shape for a few breaths. Notice how your breathing changes when you slow down. You're not moving, you're just settling in. Maybe you find that equal fluctuation breath. Once again, breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. Go ahead, 2 more breaths here. And then we'll start to come back up to our knees and make your way up to standing. You can place anything that you have props aside for a moment. And start to find Tadasana. So that's going to be your mountain pose, feeling your feet rooting into the earth, rocking side to side, forward and back, coming into a little more than hip width distance apart. Hands can shine forward. Press into the mat with your feet and then lift your spine long. Reach up through the crown of your head. And then gently tuck the chin back so the head is directly above the shoulders. A gentle drawing in of the belly towards the spine. Maybe the pelvis tucks under just a little bit there. And feel yourself standing in your own strength. From this space of stability, we're going to move into a few sun salutations. And this is where we'll feel the breath moving with our movements. And we'll do one slowly, and the next 2 we'll speed it up just a bit so you can feel what it's like to kind of move with your breath. So as we inhale, sweep the arms up. I always love to smile as my palms touch, and then exhale, pull your hands to your heart. You can remind yourself of your intention here when your hands are at your heart, And then inhale, sweep the arms high. And then exhale, this time we'll come into a nice forward fold. The knees can stay bent. Inhale, slide your hands to your shins or the thighs. Lengthen through the crown of your head. And then exhale, release, forward fold. Root into your feet and then roll as you come up to standing. Arms float back overhead, maybe another smile. And then exhale, hands to your heart. So we'll do that again 2 more times. Inhaling to reach tall. Exhale, we'll take the forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. And then exhale, release. Root down and then inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. And exhale, hands come to your heart. One more time, maybe again, reminding of your intention. Arms sweep high and smile. Exhale, pour down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and surrender. Inhale, root into the mat and really rise tall. Arms float overhead. And then exhale, pull your hands to your heart. We'll pause here for just a moment. Maybe your thumbs press in towards your sternum and you start to feel what's happening to your heart rate. Maybe it's beating a little faster than it was when we were in child's pose. And so that's because our breath is directly related to our heart rate variability. So if we're feeling rushed and like there's a stress response in life and the heart is beating, pitter-pattering, or there's palpitations, if you can slow the breath down, it brings you back into that connection with yourself, makes your body feel more at peace. And then we'll take that and we're gonna bring the energy back up. Before we do so, let's take a chair pose. And so I'm gonna stay feet hip-width distance apart. I'm doing it from the side so you can see me sit back into the chair. And then the arms are gonna float up overhead as I sit back into the heels. And again, another scoop of the pelvis so the belly moves towards the spine. And when we're in chair pose, this is where we use our breath for our strengthening because it's a little awkward holding this. So you're gonna really tap into strong breathing through the nose on the inhale, exhale through the nose. And you use your breath to feel more in balance, more strength within this Utkatasana chair pose. We'll take 2 more breaths, inhaling to reach forward while you exhale to sit back. So we're using that co-contraction, forward and back. And then after that last breath, we'll stand tall. So this next breathing exercise is going to involve us being in chair pose, which is why I showed it to you. And it's going to lift the energy up. So I like to do this if I'm feeling a little bit tired and I have something that I need to do that brings some focus, or if the energy is just kind of a little down. Sometimes we have a day that we wake up and we feel a little depressed or a little sad. So this is a way to bring yourself into a little more joy. It's actually called breath of joy. So I'll show you it first, and you can join in, kind of in that chair pose, knees bent. And it involves 3 inhales and then 1 big exhale. So I'm gonna inhale my arms up, inhale them out, inhale them up. And then as I exhale, watch as I go into chair pose, I go, ha! And I keep my back safe. My arms come back, kind of like ski racer mode, right? It's like, letting it go. And that ha is going to be letting go of anything that no longer serves you, any stress you're feeling right now. All right, now let's do it together. We can go as slow or as fast as you'd like. So you inhale, 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 exhale, ha. Inhale up. Inhale out, inhale up, exhale, let it go. And keep going. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Notice how this is affecting your body. If it's feeling too fast, you can do this slowly. The energy's uplifting no matter how fast you do it. Especially if you're in active treatment or if there's something that you feel energy-wise is preventing you from going faster, just do it slowly. Do 2 more. Really extending the exhale on those pause. Last one, let it all go. Nice work. And then we'll come to standing once again. Feel the feet plugging down, lift in the spine, up through the crown of the head. Close down the eyes so that you can feel the sensations moving through your body. And just notice how you feel now. Not every practice will work for everyone, so no worries if it's not your favorite. Others may be feeling that it's very uplifting and you feel that sense of joy, invigorating energy, similar to what we would feel breathing through the right side of our nose. All right, and so we'll start to just shake it out for a moment. And we're gonna come into warrior 2, so another standing pose. And this will be our last standing pose of the night. I always like to start in a lunge position. And you can start with your left or your right, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna bring my left foot forward. And you can either come up into this kneeling version of a lunge, and then come into kind of a kneeling warrior 2. Or the fingertips can come down on either side of your foot and lift up the back knee so you're in a low lunge. Then spin the back heel flat parallel to the back of your mat and slowly start to rise up. So you'll notice that your body starts to rotate to the side, and that's good. So we're externally have our hips rotated here. Now, before we do anything else, we're gonna check our balance. Notice if you may be leaning a little bit forward. That's always like leaning too forward into the future can bring some anxiety. And then, or maybe you're leaning too far back, leaning to the past can bring a little bit of that depression. Or we come into the nice and even present center. Body is torso stacked above the hips. When that's feeling even, focus on the feet, pressing into the back edge of your foot so much that you feel activation up your inner thigh. It's like your brake so that you can push into it and then the front knees over the ankle. Now you may notice your legs starting to burn already, so bring in the breath. Allow the arms to float up with your breath and gaze over the front fingers. We're gonna take a few movements here. Inhale, draw your palms together to touch. And then exhale, open the arms back up, reaching through the fingers. Now do that again. Inhale, palms together. Maybe you feel your heel move towards your arch as well. And then exhale, open back up. Inhale, hands come together. Also the feet squeeze. You feel the inner thighs activate. And then back into your warrior 2. We'll stay here, nice and steady, lengthen out, and take 5 breaths. So we're gonna really breathe for strength now. Breathing in, nice and steady through the nose, and out through the nose. Ujjayi breath. You can hear it almost like an ocean wave. That's what's gonna keep you focused. You're gonna feel your resilience in the pose. It's a warrior pose for a reason, because you're accessing your strength, your inner warrior. That persistence and hard work on the mat transfers to life. You got this. Move your last breath. Good. And then we'll just turn the toes to the side of the mat. So you're in a wide-legged straddle and kind of shake out the hips and come into a forward fold. So you can stay here with the head hanging heavy. Nice gentle release in the head and the neck. If that makes you dizzy for any reason, you could have maybe a block underneath you, or you could just stand with your hands on your hips, coming into your breath once again. We'll start to move to the other side. So you can simply from your straddle kind of turn, pivot into that other foot. Mine is my right. You would come back down to your knee if that worked and come into this kneeling version, or you start to pull up, turn the heel flat, and rise into warrior two to the other side. So you'll probably be facing backwards now, and that's totally fine because you know where we're going with this. And so you'll start to just come into this pose once again. Are you leaning back, forward, or directly over your hips? And then use your roots. Dig into that edge of your back foot, and then let your front knee come over the ankle nice and even. Once you feel stable, the arms float up. Even out here, settle into the shoulders. So you have like a softness almost in the upper body with strength in the legs. And then inhale, palms draw together to touch. And then exhale, open up wide, gazing over the front fingers. And as you do that a few more times, see if you can integrate your heel moving towards your back arch of your foot so that your whole body is engaged. And continue one more time. Evening back out and then finding that strong hold, your warrior two hold. Knowing that the legs may be burning, but just notice how you respond to it and recruit your breath. Nice, even inhales and exhales. See if you can keep the same engagement in your feet. Also feeling into those fingers, reaching wide. Whole body is engaged. You're focused on the details and your breath. Take that last one. Good job. And then exhale. Once you do, we'll take the toes back to the side, coming once again into a forward fold. And then this time, maybe you want to come into some side lunges or just do whatever feels good to you. There's different versions of a forward fold here as well, where your toes can be in, heels out. Maybe taking your hands behind you, stretching into the shoulders. Maybe you decide to take a little twist, one hand down with the other hand up. So you take a few moments, and then we'll meet down seated. And so here you may want to grab the blanket and the pillow. We'll start to use these in the some restorative postures. And we're going to take a forward fold first. And there's a few options. A traditional forward fold would be Dandasana or staff pose with the legs straight. You can have a pillow under the knees, or you could just keep the knees against the mat. And then your arms come up high, and then you just kind of surrender down into a forward fold where you're stretching the backs of the legs. The chin tucks in towards the chest and the shoulders round a little bit. And then you just come into a nice soft breath. So you're really breathing to slow down, starting to tap more into the parasympathetic nervous system. That's where we'll be heading for the rest of practice, slowly and gradually. You could also take your legs wide. And so if you prefer to get a little bit more of an inner thigh stretch here, you can bring your legs wide and can take the pillow and you can kind of double it over, maybe two pillows, and surrender down. And again, same thing, you're sort of allowing yourself to surrender here. Let everything soften. I like to think about softening on the exhales. So inhale, you kind of lengthen and maybe wiggle around a bit. And as you exhale, you really surrender and soften. When we are in some of these postures, like a forward fold, or it can be known as more of that yin energy, similar to if we were breathing through the left side of our nose. And it's starting to like really slow us down. Meditate on the breath. Notice that we're holding it longer, but we're still focused on breath. It just doesn't have to be quite as forceful as when we're in a warrior two pose, for example. We have to really recruit the breath to stay strong in the pose. Here, we're softening the breath, just surrender more in a pose. So you may even bring in those longer exhales. Just sip the air in for a few breaths, but then really let it out, making the exhale longer than the inhale. Take 3 more breaths here. We'll slowly start to come back up. So you come up to seated. And then however your legs are, if they're straight, that's fine. If they're wide, that's fine. But you're going to try to take your fingers behind you, squeeze the shoulders together, and open up your heart, because it's the opposite of what we just did. We were allowing ourselves to round. Now we're trying to open back up. You'll notice that the breath might feel different as you do so. One more breath here. And then we're going to move into a restorative twist. And so this pillow is going to be between the knees, and then your blanket or your towel, you fold it into, see how mine's like a rectangle? I'm going to even fold it one more time so it's kind of this longer but small rectangle, narrow. And it's going to go a little ways down, because this is where my head's going to go. I'm going to kind of ease the blanket right around my rib cage. Arm is out to the side, my head is going to rest, and then the pillow goes between the knees. And this is what makes it more restorative, because it's going to be a gentle twist. This left arm, because I'm on my right side right now, you can be on either side, just know that you're going to be twisting open to the opposite side. So I'm kind of letting my left arm open up. The gaze can be towards the ceiling, or it can be to the left. You're going to settle into this twist with nice steady inhales and exhales. You may notice that you breathe in, feels a little bit stuck because we're still twisting. The exhale, there's really a ringing out where you can let go of the air, you can let go of emotional ties. Remembering that it is the new moon, it's a great time to just be thinking about what's not serving you, so that we can really cultivate the right intentions by the end of class today. Allowing yourself to soften more on each exhale. And we'll take 4 more breaths in this shape. After that fourth exhale, if you can, squeeze the pillow and just kind of roll it up to the knees up to the sky. And then you can kind of move your knees down to the other side. Kind of the hips will move over a little more too, back to center. And then you can just roll the gaze. So it's like if rolling up and over, but you kind of will have to resituate the hips. You could also let yourself come up, kind of move this way, and then down. So it's whichever works for you. And then once again, you'll settle into breathing, and then releasing and grounding on this side. And take notice if one side felt tighter than the other. We all have subtle imbalances in the body, and it's very normal to feel sensations differently. If you feel more tension on one side, you would just breathe a little bit deeper into it. And then last 3 breaths. We'll start to just bring the knees back up to center. You can take the pillow, kind of place it close by because you might want it during our deep relaxation we're about to do. You can move the blanket as well. And you're going to come into like a shavasana type shape. So legs are long, arms come wide. Few things, like I said, you can put the pillow underneath your knees. You can put this underneath your head, but you want to be comfortable. Maybe it's vice versa. You make a blanket roll for your knees and you want the pillow for your head. We're going to be coming into what is called a progressive muscle relaxation body scan. And so it's going to involve breath. It's going to help us really just settle down. It's going to be active, so not just thinking about how we scan the body. It's actually going to be physically tensing and releasing, and it's going to involve breath as well. Before we start, I want you just to take careful notice of what happens when you tense your body. Like, go ahead as you're lying there, just tense everything up as much as you can. Okay, now let it go. You may notice that the first thing you did was stop breathing when you tensed up. And the first thing you did when you released is you took a big breath, like an exhale. You let it all out. So that's similar in life. That's when we get into a stress response and tension develops in our body tension. We can feel it in our shoulders, in our neck, or somewhere else where you may feel tension. You notice that the breath is not moving there. There's no vital energy or life force moving through the body. So this is just a practice that you can do it regularly if you like it, but it will help you just learn to kind of gradually release the tension in the body and also staying in awareness, kind of meditating through it. So get comfortable. You can even put a blanket over you if you'd like. And I would love for you to just start by closing down the eyes. Imagine yourself in one of your favorite places. And think about, how does it feel to be in that place? Make sure that you've chosen a place that you feel a sense of comfort or safety. And then you can go a little deeper to kind of think of What do you feel when you're there? Notice what you see all around you. And also some of the smells that are close by. Maybe some of the sounds that come and go. Now, in that special place, perhaps you find a spot that makes you want to lie down and take a break. And that's where you're at right now. Just feel how it is to settle into the earth beneath you. So you're feeling your body just grounding down right now. Now first, take an inhale and tighten your right foot with your toes curled under. Hold that tension as long as comfortable for you. And then exhale to relax, uncurling the toes. You'll do the same thing with the left foot. So tighten the left foot, curl the toes under, really hold the tension as long as you can. And you'll exhale, releasing the breath and relaxing the toes. Just settle into a little bit normal breathing pattern for a moment. And then you'll flex your right foot so the toes point up towards your head. So you're kind of bringing your toes up and back. Hold it, feel the tension in your whole foot. And then you'll exhale when you're ready. There's no need to hold the breath for a long period of time here, but if you can retain it and hold, then go for it. And then we'll do the same with the left foot. Again, you start, the toes are pointing up, and then you start to bring them back towards your head. Holding it, feel the tension. And then you'll exhale to release the left foot, feeling both of your feet settling down. Taking a few breaths here. And then next, draw attention to your right leg. As you take an inhale, you raise the right leg about 6 inches above the floor, but lower so that then it takes to engage the abdominals. You don't want your abdominals really engaging here. And you're holding it tight, holding it higher. And then you exhale, just let it drop down to the earth, surrendering fully. You do the same with the left leg. Inhale, slightly raise the left leg about 6 inches. Don't engage the abdominals. Hold tight. Exhale, release the breath, release the leg. Take a few moments to just notice how the legs feel. Returning to normal breath. And then next, drawing attention up to your glutes. You tighten your glutes by squeezing them together. Again, tightly, tightly. Exhaling to release. Letting the glutes settle. Notice how the whole lower part of your body feels. We've worked with both sides. Perhaps they feel even or perhaps they don't. Interestingly enough, usually when there's tension more on one side than the other, it's kind of similar to when we were talking about the nadis earlier and the left side and the right side of the body. If you're feeling more tension on that right side, it's kind of a cue to try to relax a little bit more. If you're feeling more tension on the left side, it might be a cue that you need to bring more energy into your life at some point. Maybe not right now because we're relaxing, but. And then we'll move up to the abdomen. So feeling the abdomen engage, you kind of suck in your belly, hold it tight. You're definitely going to notice the breath is tight here. Hold it, and then exhale, just let it go. Feeling the belly settle, feeling your spine settle beneath it. Now your arms are out to the side. You'll start to make a fist with your right hand. So sort of curl the fingers in. You may feel the fingernails kind of move in towards your palm. Grip, grip, grip. Clench it tightly. And then when you're ready, you exhale, release the hand down, letting it settle. You do the same to the left hand. So curling the fingers in, holding it tight. Feel the forearms engage as well. And then exhale, just release it all, letting both arms settle for a moment. Feeling the hands open towards the sky, a gesture of receptivity and openness. Now we'll go back to that right arm. You're gonna actually bend the elbow and curl the arm, your arm inward like a bicep curl. So you'll hold that bicep, engaging it tightly. And then exhale when you're ready to release the arm flat. Doing the same with the left arm. Inhale, curl, bicep engages, hold it tight. Exhale when you're ready to release. We'll also work on out the back of the arm, so our triceps. You may now really feel the whole arm engage, kind of extend through the arms, not quite locking the elbows, but you're gonna feel the triceps engage really tight. Do the right arm first. Hold it and then exhale, release it. Followed by the left, inhaling to straighten, really hold that tension, feel the tricep engage, and release on the exhale. Feeling both arms just heavy. And the arms are the extensions of our heart. So notice if there's anything happening up into the heart space. So now we'll start to shrug the shoulders up towards the ears, maybe roll them back, hold them there, really good. Exhale as you release. And then we'll also arch the back. So maybe the belly rises up and you slightly feel your back arch and engage. And then you can exhale, releasing it back to the mat. Taking a few moments to just breathe here, feeling your shoulders, feeling your back, your torso, completely surrendering. Noticing if the top part is feeling more as relaxed as the bottom part. Gently rock your head side to side, massaging the back of the head. And then take your mouth and make it into an O shape. And so you're opening it as wide as possible into an O, and then a big smile. Again, big O, and then release. scrunch it up. You can feel it completely engaged. You definitely can't breathe. And then exhale, letting it go. And the eyes are already shut, but we'll furrow the brow and also squeeze the eyes here. And then exhaling to release. Lastly, take a big breath in through the nose. Sigh it out through your mouth, really loud, letting it all out. You could do that again, once or twice more if it felt good. And you'll say to yourself, I am calm, I am relaxed. Or I am calm and I am balanced. Whatever resonates with you. Now take a few moments to just lie here in complete stillness. It's Shavasana, so you can completely let the practice settle. Notice how you're feeling. Maybe it's a little easier to settle down into this resting pose because of the progressive relaxation. Go ahead and deepen your breath, feeling that vital energy moving through the body, awakening from this deeper relaxation phase. Be moving very slowly, gentle movements of the wrists and fingers, the ankles and the toes. Maybe taking a full body stretch. And then you'll have a choice for this next part. Leading into our journaling activity, you can sit up or you can stay lying down while I explain the instructions. So as I mentioned earlier, it's a new moon this evening, and so it's a chance to really plant seeds of intention. And I like to go at this from the standpoint of you are already whole and nothing needs fixing. And this is more about intentions you want to bring into your life and what you're wanting to cultivate, almost like a goal or something that you're working on. maybe something that feels a little lost at the moment. When we move through our physical body and our breath, and we're able to put the mind and the thoughts aside, we're able to get deeper into our heart and our soul. And that's really where our true nature is. And so from this peaceful place, after moving through postures and learning different breathing practices, we're in a nice restful state where you can really feel what matters to you right now. And so this intention is one that you'll set to think about easily for the next 2 weeks. But as I mentioned, since it's a solar eclipse, it can go on for the next 6 months. It's going to honor the deeper meaning of your life and thinking about what you're wanting to fulfill. And so these are a few starters. You may say, I am, and then fill in the blank. We're going to put this in the present tense because it's the way to already kind of cue ourselves that we are doing that. We're setting an intention of something we want, but when we put it in the present tense, it is reminding us that that's happening rather than like, I will be peaceful. It's I am peaceful or I am balanced. You may like the starter, I embody, and then fill in the blank. Or I am here to bring blank to the world, if you want to think on this like bigger scale of what your true nature is that you're supposed to cultivate. And so this is just really what your own soul is speaking to you right now. And I'm going to give you just a few moments as you sit up and grab your journal to write about that. You can write this down. A few choices here. You can write it down and then continue to just write whatever comes to mind. It's very therapeutic and cathartic to get your feelings out on paper. You can also just write that intention over and over again. Just kind of really planting it into your heart. Just be thinking as you do so, if there is any struggle, it can be difficult to do this sometimes. Just be thinking about you are already whole, nothing needs fixing. Think about how that resonates. If it doesn't quite resonate, then what do you need to truly feel that you are whole? That's another way to kind of come about this resolution. What will make you really believe that you're already whole and complete as you are? We'll take about 2 more minutes to continue writing. If writing is complete for you, you can always sit there with the eyes closed, your hands facing towards the sky. So it's a gesture of receptivity and just kind of opening yourself up to that intention and meditating on it for a few moments. About one more moment, one more minute. Also take notice of whether that intention changed from the beginning of practice, because it often does, especially once we've gone through a deep relaxation and kind of reset the nervous system. And we'll just wrap it up, writing your last sentence. You can always finish it later. And to seal that into your heart, you can place one hand on your heart, the other one right on top. And breathe in, say that intention to yourself. And as you breathe out, just let it land. Really feel that in your body. Notice how it feels to you. Notice where you feel it in the body. It could be really anywhere. Maybe it brings up some emotion. Completely normal. Last time, saying it to yourself. And we'll bring our palms to touch at heart center. In Anjali Mudra is just a gesture of sealing our practice and bowing towards one another. We'll say namaste, which simply means the light in me honors the same light and love in each of you. Thank you for joining me this evening.